did find out about today. So the first thing that they announced was a new MacBook Air. So let's talk about this. You think this is something that was needed? Think that was, are you excited about it?
Definitely needed. I mean, like, we've been waiting for Apple to really take on this lower, low-cost MacBook for a while now.
Yeah.
The MacBook Air has been, and I think this is kind of a broader trend for this entire event, is both the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini that we're about to talk about later, these are both really old products that haven't been touched in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're kind of like wrapping them all up at the same time. Like, let's update both of these things and let's just like kick it out the door. So yeah, the MacBook Air is the first one though.
Why do you think they haven't updated it in so long?
They've been like focusing on, it's just, these are not products they're really focused on. They're not ones that are either not
flashy.
Like the Mac Mini is not a big seller. The MacBook Air, interestingly, is a huge seller for Apple. And that's the main reason why they've kept it around, I think, because they've got MacBook Pros, they have the 12-inch MacBook, more exciting, more like interesting things. But the MacBook Air's always sold well because it's cheap.
Right.
That's the main thing about it. Was like, it was everyone's college laptop.
Yeah.
It was like,
And Air is a flashy name. It's a flashy name.
Sure,
It's a good name. Just looking at the marketing side of it. But well, let's talk about what some of the things were that they announced with it. So the new MacBook Air, it's going to have 2 USB-C ports. Is that correct? Just
yes,
correct me if I'm wrong, because I was
ports.
trying to follow along with it and make sure I kept up to date on it.
Yeah, and again, like because this is such an old product that hasn't been touched in so long, everything is like brand new. Like, oh, the like everything's been updated over the old stuff.
And that's one of the first questions I'm seeing here on Facebook. Keelan just said, yay, how many USB ports? And that's where we were joking beforehand, if maybe it'd have no USB ports. Because that seems to be a trend, especially with Apple, is to take things away. But 2 USB-C ports. So I do like that. That's at least something.
Yeah, no USB-A ports. So
no
you're
USB-A
not going to find
ports.
your old,
Is there a headphone jack?
There is a headphone
Okay,
jack.
there's a headphone jack. All right, so at least we kept the headphone jack. So that's still on there. So yeah, and then any other ports that were on it?
Not port, but like the Touch ID sensor is a pretty big addition to the MacBook Air.
Let's talk about that. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't have an Apple laptop. I've been PC for a long time. Why is the Touch ID sensor such a big deal for this?
I mean, right now it's the Mac's only like biometric authentication.
Because like I've got one on this computer and this is like a 2-year-old computer that I'm using.
Sure, and Windows has like the whatchamacallit, Windows Hello, where you can log in with your face.
Right. Yeah.
Which we'll get to later, because Apple also does that, but they don't have it on Mac.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. So they got Touch ID.
They got Touch ID. It's over in the right-hand corner. This was a feature that was brought to the MacBook Pro originally, which I have it sitting right here, at the kind of like on the right side of the Touch Bar. Touch Bar is absent here, so like we have a standard row of function keys at the top, and then the Touch ID in the top right corner. So happy to see that. I'm really happy to see that. And
I mean, I guess so.
My overall feeling with this device is like, this is what people have been asking for a long time. The Retina display is something that's why it was such a big joke when he was like,
the Retina display,
a Retina display.
I forgot, that was the first thing that he said.
Yeah.
So big deal there. We got the Retina display.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to switch. Like, I really want your feelings.
Yeah, totally. It's what people have wanted for a long time. Just a MacBook Air that feels modern. It has like a high resolution display, modern ports, and they've done stuff like a bigger trackpad, just the basic stuff that has been in every
20% bigger trackpad. Let's just make sure that was clear on there. I think that was on that one. Yeah. So
20% bigger. The keyboard is the butterfly mechanism keyboard, which is on the MacBook Pros, that most people hate. And that have had a lot of reliability issues with like dust getting in them and breaking the whole keyboard and stuff like that. But this is the 3rd generation one, so like this is the one that was confusing. But this was brought in to fix the previous.
Update that was not as good. And taking a look here at the comments, and again, Justin just says, weak Apple event. What were you hoping to see? Like, and that's another thing that I did want to talk about with this is what did you want to see? What could they have done that would have made you excited? What could they have announced? Hardware-wise, obviously, is what we're talking about with this, because it was a hardware event. Like, what were you hoping, or is it just not enough advancements with these computers? I don't know. Let's see. Justin says, a modern version. You realize the MacBook Air is their newest model, right? It should have always been modern.
I completely agree. It should have always been modern, and it's taken a long time to bring it up to 2018 to the
this standard.
But you know, the main, and this is my main issue here, because like I would be pretty happy with this device as just like a basic computer.
Yeah, regardless of the previous updates, like the device itself.
Yeah, this is not a cutting edge computer. This is supposed to be something that's for like the entry level, you know, market. The problem is the price.
Yeah.
Because the previous MacBook Air was $1,000, and that was the reason why it was such a like popular.
Yeah.
You know, and also it honestly was a beloved device because it was everyone's first MacBook when they were getting into that. So the $1,200, $200 bump over the previous version is just.
And that seems to be like a theme throughout a lot of these products is the price increase. So the price now, the entry level price for the new MacBook Air is $1,199.
Yeah.
So that's entry level.
Entry level.
So jacking it up
for a dual core processor.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking, you know, the most powerful processor in the world.
Right.
And it's only.
And like you said, this isn't a cutting edge.
Right, and it's not supposed to be. But check, it's $100. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's $100 cheaper than the 12-inch MacBook, which is this like really thin, you know, kind of low power thing. And then it's also only $100 cheaper than the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which is what I have here.
So why wouldn't you just go for a MacBook Pro?
It just doesn't make any sense. And
I mean, if you're investing that much, why not pay $100 more and get a significantly more powerful
There is not
computer?
a single feature in the MacBook Air that's better than the MacBook Pro. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit lighter.
Right, but not that much. I mean, I'm looking at your computer right here in front of us, and it's not that thick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's a real issue, I suppose, but not a $100 difference
Most
for me.
people are just going to buy the MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
It's the Pro. You know, most people are going to want that.
And that is, I'm seeing, you know, that seems to be a common thread here as far as the comments that are coming through of people feeling that same way, of that the price is what's really taking people off.
Yeah, just a real miss.
One thing that was cool is that it's 100% recycled aluminum. I think everybody kind of agrees that that's a cool component to that, but I don't think that's going to influence anybody to buy the computer.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's a nice bonus, and I think that's responsible, but that's not. I'm not going to pay, you know, $200 more for it necessarily. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, I don't think that's what brought the price up. So interesting that they raised the price. Starting $1,199, and would definitely like to. Keelan's just saying that means the MacBook Pro is about to go up $300. So and now everybody is kind of agreeing on that. The aluminum side is great, but not worth paying that much extra money. So again, let us know what you think on that. Let's go on because we do have the other announcements that they brought in, and we'll kind of circle back to this, you know, as people want to talk about it more. But let's go to the Mac Mini.
Okay.
So the Mac Mini. An update to that. How long has it been since the updated?
It's been 4 years.
Damn, that is such a long time.
It's a really long time in computer world.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
You know, most manufacturers, even if they're not like, we don't expect, you know, to like completely redesign the product, but every year you at least like bring the new processor, the new Intel processor.
Something, whatever, give it an update, give it a boost.
Totally.
You know.
Instead, they have not said a word about the Mac Mini in 4 years.
So the Mac Mini, we finally do get the update, and there are some questions coming through about the Mac Mini. So let's kind of walk through some of the main components of this.
Sure.
They did say, you know, it's got 4 cores. I was a little confused on that part. Is it 4 cores or is it 6 cores?
Well, the base model, they kept doing this thing where they're like, and now it has 4 cores as you'd expect, but we went even further, you know.
Yeah, and then said 6 cores. So I'm like, well, which one is it?
Yeah.
What do you
have? The base level is 4 cores. That's if you buy the entry-level base model, you're going to get a 4-core processor, which that's a reasonable thing for a tiny little
I mean, kind of expected, I would think.
Yeah, it's totally expected.
Again, I'm not trying to be negative about it. I'm just saying, I would kind of expect 4 cores at this point, you know? That should come with that.
And then you have the option for the 6-core, like Core i7.
So you can update to the 6-core. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of what the 2 differences were on that. They did really talk about how the Mac Mini, and I'm curious anybody out there too, if you use the Mac Mini or if this is something that you would want to use, because they showcased a bunch of different things as usually Apple does. There's a video of a bunch of people using our product.
Yeah, which I thought was really funny because did you see where he was like. And people like using it on stage for live music.
Yeah.
I'm like, are people bringing a monitor on stage?
That's exactly
separate. Like, it doesn't come with a display.
Right. Yeah. So how are they using this? Like, why wouldn't you just use a laptop at that point? Like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, because it has so many ports, though. I think was what makes it 4 Thunderbolt ports, which
that's a lot of Thunderbolt.
That is a lot of Thunderbolt ports. So you do get the ports on that. You don't get a display, but you get the ports. 2 USB-A ports, and then you get. Let's see, what's anything else?
You get an Ethernet port that comes with like 10 gigabit connection. Well, that's great,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
I'm happy, and an HDMI port. I'm happy to see them not strip away those ports.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun or whatever, like to cut back they realize people actually need those ports for like a desktop.
Right.
So
yeah, you have to have those, especially if you have to connect a monitor to it. So
yeah.
And a keyboard.
They could have done all Thunderbolt, if they wanted. Yeah. They really could have, but
yeah, but they did leave some of the older ones on there. Yeah, taking a look at some of the comments, Jude says and this is on YouTube, the new Mac Mini is too expensive, man, and that is the other thing. We did get another price increase. On the Mac Mini. So is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. $799 for entry level.
$799 for entry level, and that's a bump from $499.
That's a big bump.
It's exactly the same bump as the MacBook Air. It's $200 more.
Or $300. It was $499, $799.
Oh yeah.
For the base. I mean that's
right.
That's a huge increase in price. Yeah. I mean that's not an insignificant amount.
No.
That you can do. Taking a look here at some of the chats or some of the comments that are coming through. Let's see. I mean, we also thought you needed headphone jacks, but Apple thought otherwise. Yeah.
There's a headphone jack on the Mac Mini.
Apple was so gracious to give us ports on a goddamn computer. You should be thanking them. Justin says, why Mac Mini and Mac TV? Why not combine and get rid of the double model? Combine a Mac Mini with a Mac television.
With an Apple TV. Yeah,
they
look almost identical, right? They're just a little gray box.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, yeah, you probably could, but then you wouldn't have to buy them separate. So anything else with the Mac Mini?
So they have it in this like space gray color, which is intentionally matching the iMac Pro, the only desktop in that color.
Okay.
Kind of implying that this is like a professional,
right, something more.
Yeah, something you actually do, and you could get work done on it, but it doesn't have an option for like better graphics. It was really funny because on the slide they said 60% better graphics than, and literally they're talking about 4 years of Intel integrated graphics. It's like, this is not, you're not going to be gaming on this thing, and that's really, I think, really misleading as to how they were saying that.
Yeah.
It's using an integrated graphics, cards. It's not a,
that's not a
you're
giant.
not going to be doing anything in that realm on this.
All right. Well, so let's take a look at the Mac Mini, and again, we'll have all this updated on digitaltrends.com as it comes out. But this is, really just happened like an hour ago that we got to see this live Apple event. They did have a big thing about the Today at Apple, which, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't go into an Apple store very often because I don't really have a need to. And it's not because I'm against Apple at all. It's just I have PC products. So going into the Apple store isn't an experience that I.
No iPhone? I mean, you're not an iPhone guy?
Nah, I don't have an iPhone. Yeah, I'll take one, but I'm not against them by any means. I mean, they look really cool when you walk by them. And, it looks like everybody's having a good time.
It looks like a museum. I think they try to make it feel like, and so like if you missed it, basically they were showing off like these different sessions that they were having, like scheduled events where they would be like teaching little workshop things.
Right. Yeah. So that seems to be what they were talking about. That you can go there and.
Yeah. So they're trying to make it more than just a place to like.
It's a community center for Apple fans or for Apple aficionados. Let's meet up at the Apple store. But I mean, good for them. That's a smart business model.
I think it's really smart
to create that ecosystem and really foster what a lot of what Apple people are. If you're into Apple, a lot of times that's all you buy.
Yep.
So
and you get these.
Why not foster that?
Get these new products in the hands of people who haven't bought them yet, and you're like, oh wow, I really like. I can see how I could use it,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Some announcements on that. If anybody out there is a big fan of going to the Apple Store and hanging out for the community events, and let us know. And because I guarantee I could be missing out on something absolutely. Looks like everybody's having a great time. Looks like they're all having fun. I just stand there outside the windows and stare in. All right, so the other big thing that we got today was the iPad Pro.
Yeah.
And this was kind of an expected, I mean, none of this was too unexpected.
Yeah. This was
we're going to talk about what we did expect that we didn't get here in just a couple of minutes. But the iPad Pro, kind of a big upgrade.
Yeah, I think this was probably like the most exciting, significant update of the event. No surprise that, you know, Apple's putting more of its focus on their iPads and iPhones, obviously.
Right.
Those are their big markets. And I think this is a really sweet looking device, honestly.
Yeah.
I think this, and what they said was interesting, and I totally think this is true. They were like, this is the iPad we always wanted to make. It's like fully, you know, like the bezels are thin.
Yeah.
There's no home button. It's just all screen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is kind of what the iPad always was trying to be.
Yeah, it was just like, just a screen with nothing else on there.
Right.
And it does look like, you know, like you said, they've kind of done that. So no more home button. That is, I think, you know, something that we should just talk about. So how is it? How do you open it right now?
Right. So it's in line with the recent iPhones, you know, of the past year or so. All the gestures have been brought over. So like, and this is going to function like, you know, like
the new iPhones.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, like
Face ID.
New iOS, they have Face ID. So all this stuff has been kind of carried over from the recent iPhones to the iPad. So not super surprising in that way, but but very, very nice looking. I mean,
yeah, it does look nice. I mean, it looks like they come in 11-inch or 12.9-inch configurations. They do have the Apple Pencil that now comes with it.
Yeah,
I believe, or is it?
Was it bundled in? I think
you know what? Is it an addition? Yeah, probably.
Everything.
Of course it is. Why would I even say that? Yeah, of course it's going to cost more.
They have a new Apple Pencil, and then it sounds like they have a new folio kind of stand for it.
Yeah.
Also an additional price, I'm sure.
Something interesting that's being brought up here too, and we want to get back to some of the features of it, but just talking about the gaming side of it, they did make a big deal to talk about the gaming. I heard some comments here throughout the office about the Assassin's Creed version they showed.
Oh, our senior editor, Matt Smith, was literally yelping. I was like, what are you yelling about? And he was just like, that's not Assassin's Creed.
At some point, I think
stupid mobile game.
Yeah, at some point, I think for Digital Trends, we should just have a live commentary, like walking around the office during one of these events. I think just some of the comments being yelled out were hilarious. But yeah, so that game didn't look that impressive. The NBA 2K, you know, it looked cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the details were pretty great.
What they said it was? They had the graphics power of an Xbox One. Is that what it was?
That's kind of what they were saying. Yeah.
So I mean, it is really crazy. You know what's even more crazy is you can buy a MacBook Air, and because of like the graphics that are inside of it, you can't play a thing on it. Like, you can play you have way more like gaming capabilities with an iPad than you do with like, you know, a laptop.
Which and that's I'm just seeing, you know, as the comment threads are coming through, people talking about that. Just as far as the gaming side of it, why don't they make more of a push with this? Like, is this just kind of their little like, hey, you know, you can do some games on this too?
You know, Apple's never really been.
They've never really gone for
gaming, even though like the iPhone is obviously the most successful gaming device of all time ever made, right? I mean, it's like everybody has a game system in their pocket at all.
That's true. Yeah, when it comes to the mobile side of it. Yeah.
But they kind of just like, it's just a thing, you know, that you nerds do.
Cool there you go, nerd. Be happy with this. Yeah. So that is the iPad Pro, and again, we'll have all of this written up at Digital Trends too. I know we're starting to run low on time, but just a couple of glaring omissions that I feel like people were hoping for were new AirPods.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing that feels like it's way overdue for an update.
Way, way overdue for an update. It's something that I really wish they would update because I hate how the current ones look.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at people wearing them.
Right. Yeah. You see them everywhere. They are. They're really. Yes. I mean, and there's so many other companies too that seem to have been getting, you know, a lot of Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You know, wireless earbuds that are out there now. Like the market's expanded, and you know, the AirPods were great for their time, but
and a large part of that is because of Apple. Because
yeah.
They removed the headphone jack, so it's like, okay, well, we all need to move to Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
You know, no wires, and then they just like have these things out there they haven't touched in a year. Yeah. I really thought they would have done that at the iPhone event. You know, it makes more sense.
Right. It would be.
But
for sure. But there must be some kind of a holdup, and I don't know what it is or why that's not being updated right now. But yeah, nothing from the AirPod. Anything else that you hoped to see today that you didn't?
There's a couple like we have people in the office who are waiting for updates to like in the home the HomePod stuff.
Yeah.
What is that? The charging mat the AirPower that was announced like years ago and then not talked about.
Never released. Never mention it.
Like that's got to be a first for Apple. Like here's this new product and then never put it out.
Never mind. Erase it off the
Canceled.
website. Yeah.
So yeah, a couple things like that for sure.
Well, yeah, Luke, thanks for coming on too and talking about this. Like, this is great. I'm sure you guys have your work cut out for you the rest of the day, like writing up everything that you've seen
it's going to be a long. It was an early morning, and it's going to be a long day.
Yeah. Well, you can check it all out at digitaltrends.com, and we have, of course, a lot more coming. We've got Azizi Gibson, who's going to be joining us in a bit, but next we're going to be joined by Kim Wetzel. And actually, I think I'm going to ask her about that because she's in our smart home department, just about the Apple HomePod.
She'll give you her
I'm sure we'll get some opinions on that, about why that hasn't been updated or what you think. And again, live here across all these different channels. Let us know what you think, your thoughts, your comments, whatever they may be. We will get to those throughout the show. Still have the $100 gift card coming up. We'll be back here in a minute with more DT Daily. Welcome back to DT Daily, and as promised, we are joined now by Kim Wetzel. Hello,
Hi.
Kim.
How are you?
Doing well. We're going to talk all about what's on the table right now, or here in just a couple of minutes. But since we are talking about just the Apple event that happened today, and in particular, since you are our smart home editor, what did you think about the lack of announcements? Like, why do we have a new HomePod?
Well, I will say I really enjoyed coming here at 7 a.m. in the dark to watch nothing about the home. I don't know what Apple's doing. I didn't think there would be a HomePod Mini because we haven't heard any leaks or anything, but they really need to do something. I mean, if they're going to really compete in the smart home territory, they need a voice assistant that's not the HomePod because the HomePod is so expensive.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking, well, maybe this will be the time, launch the HomePod Mini, even make it $100. Apple, freaks would go crazy. Sorry, I don't mean the Apple people are freaks, but they kind of are.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and if you're into Apple, I mean, this is something you would want. I mean, just that, we've talked about this before, and we're here to talk about some other stuff too, but just with the smart speakers in general, like that is such a growing, huge market.
Absolutely.
It is kind of a glaring omission that they have their one HomePod in, but it's double the price.
Yeah,
it's about of whatever.
What is it? Is it $399?
$3 something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big difference, and it would be nice to have something a little bit lower.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Apple's really snoozing and losing on this one.
Yeah.
I wrote an op-ed about it, like after Apple event number 3 or 2 earlier this year. Like, where is Apple in this smart home space? They're not making any advances at all. So.
Justin said they need a voice assistant. They have Siri. They invented the assistant market. That's true, but I mean, just like a lot of things that Apple's done, they've laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff, but then they've kind of fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, they need some corresponding hardware to compete with Amazon Echo devices and Google Home devices.
Well, let's, and again, you can keep on dropping in your comments or questions on that. Let's talk about something else, though, from your department. And this article, I can't believe how like invested I was in this. I'm like, this is something actually I didn't realize I think about a lot because I've had terrible luck when it comes to finding a coffee machine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is smart home. You know, it makes sense. We should have something better looking. And yeah, Sarah in the chat just said that's a sexy looking coffee machine.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, very.
It's very pretty. Yeah, so what happened with this particular post is my writer, her coffee maker broke, and she was just devastated. She'd had the same one for 15 years. She's like, I'm going to find the right one this time. And so she went on a mission, reviewed
like
a
invest.
bunch.
I mean, yeah, 15 years, you know, you can invest in something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she tested out several. Turns out that, you know, she's a reviewer, so that worked out. And she ended up finding this particular model. And it's, I have it written down here because it's a long name, but it's the DeLonghi All-in-One Cappuccino, Espresso, and Coffee Maker, which is what she ultimately decided on. $250 price tag, but it has a lot of cool features. It is a coffee maker and an espresso machine, and right here on the edge you see the milk frother too. So it's kind of everything.
So it's kind of got it all.
Yeah, and when you see two-in-one devices and machines, they usually they do one well and the other terribly.
Right.
This does everything.
What was the process of deciding this? Like how does one go through the process of deciding what's a good coffee machine to buy?
That is well, it depends on who you are and what kind of coffee drinker you are and what kind of, you know, I don't know what you want to go through in the morning to get your
right.
coffee,
Yeah, how much you want to deal with.
Yeah. So she actually in the article, which you can check out on digitaltrends.com, she kind of bullet points like what kind of coffee drinker are you, and you know what questions should you ask yourself before choosing a coffee maker.
Yeah.
And you know how many, like for example, how much coffee do you make at home daily? For example, like if you're only one and done, maybe you should just go to the
right. That's not even maybe it's not even worth it.
Right.
I drink a lot of coffee. I drink way too much coffee.
How much coffee do you drink?
I don't want to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, we don't want to get into that.
Okay.
That
explains why you're so upbeat.
It's got really serious. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's no. The crash at about 1 p.m. is not good. But yes, I drink a lot of coffee, so something like this would matter. Let's just say there's an espresso machine here at Digital Trends, and I abuse it way too much. But like for home use, like what all? So going through what, like you said, like what do you want to factor in? What do you think about?
Yeah.
And this was her process.
Yeah, so how much coffee do you drink at home daily? What is the most important thing about your coffee experience? So, you know, are you like, I don't know, do you know what that means?
No.
Okay. Like what are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to get a quick jolt of caffeine and out the door? Are you like one of those, I'm going to sit and read the newspaper?
Oh, I see. Yeah, sit on the porch and catch up and enjoy the morning.
Right.
No, I'm more of a let's drink it and
let's drink
get
it.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. I'm like, this is, and it's a means to an end rather than an enjoyable experience.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm taking a look here. So there's some comments coming through. People are asking, like, is it, you know, since we were talking about smart homes, is there a smart home component to this?
As far as, no, there's not. Like, you don't set this to an app or anything.
Okay.
Like, there's no like crazy tech other than it's just a great coffee machine. You could put a smart plug on it and stuff, and
right, and just have it set up that way.
Up for you in the morning. And it's got timers and stuff like that. But there's nothing like, there's no corresponding app for this device or anything like that.
There are some intense questions coming through on this. So I mean, we are live. We'll take these.
Right.
Let's see. Can you set the brewing temperature? 195 to. Okay, so can you set a brewing temperature?
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe.
It looks like 195 to 204. But there are nuances to it, so there's apparently, you can set the temperature on it for what you want.
There you go.
If you want to scald yourself in the morning. Okay, it's the, let's see, does it have auto shut-off? And can you turn it back on once it turns off without having to make another pot? I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would imagine you could.
Yeah.
Justin did the math on this. So we do have the math done. If it's you're a $5 a day Starbucks consumer, $250 is not a bad price tag. You'd pay it off in a few short months. So that's true.
Absolutely.
Thank you for crunching the numbers on there.
Who was that?
Justin, our official mathematician of DT Daily for today.
Yeah.
For me, coffee morning is a ritual. I'm very cheap when it comes to food, but I don't compromise on that. I think that's for a lot of people. That's probably the case. Like, you don't compromise when it comes to the coffee side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't. I mean, when I said it's not an enjoyable experience, I don't mean that I just drink garbage coffee. You
right.
want the coffee to be good, especially if you're going to be paying $250 for
exactly.
a machine.
Yeah. And that's the question. But $250 to make coffee. But I mean, if it lasts a long time.
If it lasts a long time, if you're going to the coffee shop all the time.
Yeah.
And our reviewer, she couldn't be here today. She's vacationing in Mexico. But one of the things she really loved about this was like she's a coffee drinker, but when her guests come over and they prefer, espresso, like she has that option. And both of those can run simultaneously as well. Like you can be brewing coffee and creating some espresso at the same time.
See, there you go. So you can have people over and host it and all of that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and this whole article is at digitaltrends.com too. And it's just, I love reading, the entire section because it's stuff like this. Like I didn't even think about what would go into this.
Yeah.
You can see there. Anything else that's coming up big on editorial that you want to talk about? Just to let people know what they can check out today at digitaltrends.com.
Well, we talked. There's so much weird stuff out there.
I know. That's why I love your section.
We have a post that just went live about a Reddit forum, a Reddit subforum, where people have signed up to look at pictures of your refrigerator, the inside of your refrigerator, and analyze what kind of person you are.
I would never want somebody to see the inside. No, I mean, never mind. It's perfectly clean.
There are people who have signed up to look.
Everything's fine on my refrigerator.
Who are signing up to like, hey, yeah, look at my fridge. Which, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, no thanks.
I am going to read that, though. I'll look at other people's.
Yeah,
all right, we can check that out at digitaltrends.com. Kim, thank you so much for joining us, too, so you can read about this article. We're going to take just a quick break. I do want to remind everybody we still have our giveaway for a $100 Amazon gift card coming up, and we are live broadcasting, so we do want your comments, your questions. We're going to be joined here in just a couple of minutes by Azizi Gibson to talk about everything that he's got going on, so stick with us. We'll be right back with more DT Daily. All right, back here with DT Daily. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Once again, I'm Greg Nibbler. We are live, broadcasting and everything right now, and we are joined by Mr. Azizi Gibson. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me so much.
Seriously, it was, I mean, I knew that we were going to be having you on the show today, but I didn't realize you were actually in town.
I'm in town. I didn't have to send my robot over. This is the first time. You know?
Yeah, so you do need to get a robot, an Azizi robot, to go around everywhere. Well, we want to talk about your career and everything you have going on, because there's so much happening. But right before we went on air, we were talking about how you're an iPhone user.
Yes.
And you're thinking about making the switch.
I'm thinking about making a switch. I'd prefer...
Is that an Apple Watch, too? You have one?
I was trying to tuck it away before you saw me. But, yeah, I'm a free agent to all the... I would like to be a free agent to all the companies out there. I just want something different, man. I've been using the iPhone since the first one came out.
You've been there for that entire time.
Like, the whole time, I was always trying to be the coolest kid on the block. And now I'm just like, you know... It's just been stagnant, you know, like what they keep adding, I really don't care about anymore.
So, yeah, so what is it that's making you, because I know a few different people here, like at Digital Trends or just with friends that are making the switch from iPhone, from Apple over to Android. Like, what is it specifically?
I just think that we just want to switch it up. It's like whenever you get a new phone, you're like, yeah, I'm getting a new phone. And then it just, that feeling diminishes in 15 minutes with the new iPhone. You're like, all right, well, same stuff I've been using, same everything. It's like the same.
It's just $200 more.
Yeah, it's just more. It looks a little cleaner. Like, it works, it always works amazing. That's why I stick with the iPhone. But then every time I see someone else with an Android, I'm like, wait, your phone does that? Like, that's cool. I've never seen that before.
It's kind of like it's caught up. I mean, because I've always been an Android person, so I've always been curious about the iPhone, but I'm like, I mean, you know, I could do everything I want on an Android, so I've been okay with it. And now it's
satisfied, you're satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm cheap, so that was kind of a lot of it too.
And the Android is less expensive and does so much. So yeah, it's definitely a main contender. Like,
although some of the like the new Samsungs, I mean, they're the same price basically, but you do get a lot with it. I don't know, a lot to consider when it comes down to that. So let's talk about your career. You know, how you got started in music. And you know, where did it all begin for you?
I grew up overseas. I didn't even move to.
Right there,
oh my bad. I didn't even move to America until I was 11 years old. I was just living in Singapore, Thailand, even Africa. So like when I heard hip hop, rap, or whatever, like it was so rare, like, and it was so potent that I always had to like turn my head and like stop what I was doing, because it just like played more different genres. Since you were living in such a cultural area, you didn't just hear one type of music.
I was gonna say it probably wasn't just American hip hop.
Oh no, yeah, it was definitely like African, definitely Thai music. Wherever it was definitely that main sound coming out on the MTV or whatever the station was. But my dad was always a musician. He's from Harlem, New York. I was always be on his lap while he's playing piano. Before I knew it, like I was seeing videos of me rapping like beside a pool at age 2, age 3, age 4. I got rap videos. And then I think it's just something I just stuck with. And then as I got older, everyone just kept on saying like, yo, you're really good at it. Continue. And then I moved to LA when I was 20. I'm 28 now, and I've just been doing music like successfully since I started moving. I mean, since I moved to LA, and everything's been nothing but great.
Did you start off producing your own stuff, I would imagine?
I did start off producing my own stuff, but then I realized that my weapon was the voice, you know, and that other stuff I could just like build chemistry with somebody, and then put money in their pocket too.
Right. You know it's somebody that's their specialty.
Exactly. Like I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm this because I do both. Nah, I don't need to do both. I just need to make sure I do one right, you know?
Yeah, do that part of it right. Well, we want to talk about, you know, your videos have come out too. Like now you're on tour a lot. Like how often are you on tour during the week?
I've been on tour too much. Like probably like almost like 2 times. Yeah, 2. But it's fun. I love meeting all the fans, you know.
Yeah.
But like we do got to chill out next year.
Yeah. How often are you home during the year?
Maybe like a couple months. Damn. Like 3 months.
That's a lot.
3.5 months, yeah.
That's a lot on the road.
Yeah.
Well, with that, you know, since you're touring so much, what do you do like during your downtime? I mean, because it's a lot of travel, like you know, we are a tech show. Like, what do you do?
We play video games. I play video games. I'm always playing Nintendo Switch. I'm always playing Splatoon 2 or
I was gonna ask,
whatever
what
the latest game. I'm a Nintendo man, but I'm never not without a Sony. I'm not an Xbox person.
Okay.
But I always had a Sony. Sony is what I got before I had the Nintendo 64. I mean, of course, we all had the Super Nintendo, but Sony was always the one that my parents would buy, and Nintendo was always the one that I wanted to buy. But, yeah, I'm a Nintendo man, but, you know.
But you'll play it.
I will always play the Red Dead Redemptions, the God of Wars, the Ratchet and Clanks, the Crash Bandicoots.
Okay, all that questions I want to know. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. So,
only
got
played
it?
5 minutes of it. We have a PS4 on the tour bus. But
Nice.
the tour bus broke down 2 days ago. So I haven't been able to play it, but today we got a 10-hour drive after we leave here. It is going to be all Red Dead Redemption once I install it onto the new tour bus.
Nice.
I'm so ready.
So you got it the second it came out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it actually, funny story. I'll tell it real quick. I tweeted and I posted on my Instagram. I was like, yo, whichever fan brings me Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm throwing you free merch and I'm smoking you out. And then I took it down because I felt bad, because I felt guilty, because I was like, someone might just do this. And then I was like, yo, take me to the store. I pre-ordered it right before my set. I went to the store, like literally an hour before I was supposed to perform. I'm in line waiting to grab my Red Dead Redemption copy. And these 3 girls walk up to me and they're like, we got this for you. And I'm like,
no way.
Wow. And then I just leave the line and I'm just like, dang, I just got free Red Dead Redemption. And I gave them free merch and I smoked them out, and it was a beautiful ending. It was a beautiful ending.
It's a beautiful story. You know, that's something that can go in the memoirs later on.
It was dope.
All right, I've got some questions coming through. Nate says, ask him if he plays Fortnite. Do you play any?
I played Fortnite the week it came out on the Nintendo Switch because I had some friends in town for E3. I live like a few blocks away from the convention center, so E3 is like tradition now. And it was cool because the Switch didn't have like an online multiplayer game that was just like easy to hop into. So I played it for a while, but I love my Splatoon 2, man. I can't get over Splatoon 2. I just can't. I can't.
That's the one. So how do you compete with other people online a lot? Or
yeah, I play. I mean, just whatever the random people I play, but I'm not like on a competitive team. I would love to, but I don't have time. Like that would be a lot.
I know. I was gonna say, how do you add that into?
Maybe I would have time, you know, but I would need someone who's as dedicated as me because I really get dedicated to games.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I love the Switch so much, because I don't have to stop playing a game when I go on tour.
Did Nintendo give you a Switch?
No, Nintendo doesn't give me.
I was gonna say you're throwing.
I think I'm a little bit too. I think I'm a little bit too raw for Nintendo. You know, I don't mind buying their stuff as long as I could say cuss words and say how I feel and stuff. You know?
All right. Well, yeah, it's a trade-off. Well, all right. Let's talk about your career. Like obviously touring. You've got a couple of videos that have just come out not that long ago.
A few videos.
Like How many videos do you have up right
now? Maybe a total of, I think, like 6 videos.
Damn.
My boy John over here filming us made one of them. One of my biggest videos, Levels. It's a very positive song. If you're going through some stuff, go watch Levels right now. Open up another tab. But then I've dropped Cruel Intentions, and I've also dropped Boo. And they're both on my latest project, Backward Books 2. If anyone has never heard of me, which I assume no one from this planet has ever heard of me, I don't walk around acting like people have. I just dropped a new album called Backward Books 2. You definitely want to check it out. It's a little bit of something for everybody. But yeah, we're trying to stay as productive as possible. I've got a whole new team behind me. I'm still an independent artist. Through experience, we just kind of know what we're doing now, and we want to set a great example for these young kids coming up who are just signing whatever they put in front of you, you know what I'm saying? And my whole goal is to be like, yo, I'm going to show you how to be a millionaire without signing any contracts with the label. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll also understand, like, you can also be a millionaire or do this, that, and the third without everyone knowing you either. I'm not a millionaire just yet, but I'm saying. but the on paper, the formula is going extremely well.
It's working for you.
It's working extremely well.
Do you have any inspirations for that, or are you just trying to figure it out as you go? Because I mean, I've done a lot of independent work myself, and I know for me it's always been hard, figuring out what that path is.
My inspiration is to not get effed over.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that, like, once you get messed up,
Fair.
You just don't want to go that way, and you want to start learning about every part of the game that you don't know, so that you could protect yourself and the people who also represent you too. Because once you I'm Azizi Gibson. That's my real name. That's my artist name. That's what they booked me under. But like, Azizi Gibson is no longer one entity. Azizi Gibson is him. It's my tour manager. You know, I got to make sure that whatever I do is protecting the name. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I've just learned that. I don't want to ever be taken advantage of ever again, and that's just my inspiration right there.
Well, congratulations. I mean, that's honestly a very good philosophy, I think, on all of it.
Thank you, man.
And it sounds like it's working for you.
No, yeah, it's going much better. I've learned a lot more, so much in the past few years, so much.
Well, Azizi, where can everybody follow you, check out everything you're doing, and follow along with your, sounds like a crazy life.
No, yeah, check me out. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything. I have the most unique name in the world. Azizi Gibson. It's right there on the bottom. Just throw an @ symbol in front of it and you'll find me. Same thing on YouTube. I would love for y'all to check anything I have out. Give me feedback. Let me know what's going on. I'm here, man. I'm chilling like a villain.
Thank you so much.
Don't spoil anything from Red Dead Redemption 2 or I will hop through this screen.
He will find you. Yeah, so keep that in mind. All right, well, Azizi, thank you so much.
Hey, man, thank you so much,
awesome.
man. I really appreciate it.
And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're not done yet. We do have our giveaway we're still going to be doing here in a minute, $100 gift card to Amazon. But we're going to take a quick break. Back here with more DT Daily. Welcome back to DT Daily. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Like, we've still got a couple of more things we're going to be talking about, but I just can't say enough how much I love this show and the interaction, seeing everybody's comments. Everybody's talking about Azizi right now on there, and you know, every day we've got something different for you. We do have the $100 gift card from Amazon that we're going to be giving away here in just a little bit. We don't have much show left, so it's going to be soon. But we do want to do our Read 'em and Weep segment, which is something that we do every day, since we do talk about how we like to be interactive. We like to read the comments, good or bad. We do go through them, and so we've got a few here that we gathered from yesterday. This is something that we do every day that we want to do, just walk through with you. So I think if we can pull some up. So we've got David Doris regarding the article, Scientists Create Artificial Life on Quantum Computer. They didn't create artificial life any more than they created a true quantum computer. But I'm glad I can easily spot bogus stories now on whether they allegedly involve true quantum computers. I feel like it needs to be said in like they didn't create artificial life anymore. Okay, but anyway, so that's David's response. Sorry, David. Let's go ahead and see what our next one is here as we walk through our different comments. Yuck foo. Google Home Hub, government spy device. You got to be crazy to put this in your house. It is true. I'm sure that's 100% true. Believe everything you read on the internet. It's just safer that way. So there's that. There's Yuck foo's comment. Let's see as we walk through a couple of the other ones here. James, regarding the V8 lawnmower, this video is worthless. It was about as entertaining as watching a slideshow on YouTube. Whoever made this needs to be beat with a broomstick. But here's the thing, James. You watched it. So, I mean, it did kind of work out. And the title says V8 lawnmower. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into there. So if you're not into lawnmowers, then maybe that wasn't the one for you. But all right, next comment here. Crafty Method. Regarding awesome tech you can't buy yet. Talking about Drew Prindle. Drew wears camo. I was thinking, what Warzone is this? And I didn't pull the picture, but you can find this at digitaltrends.com. I believe what they're referring to is the picture of Drew Prindle with the flamethrower that Elon Musk sold, the Boring Company flamethrower. We actually got one of those, and there's a whole video showcasing, I think, burning food or something like that. So you can take a look at that. Drew does look terrifying. I think, do we have one more comment on here? Okay. Got Nicholas Delgado. Okay, so we got sorry, the Boba Fett movie is not happening, which is true if you didn't read that. We do have a whole entertainment section at Digital Trends. Sorry, did you mean to say you can safely sleep at night knowing at least Boba won't be ruined? So somebody who didn't want the Boba Fett movie, I concur. I didn't want that either. It just seems stupid. All right, so moving on, we got, let's see, I think one or two more. Okay, this is our last one. Djibouti Singh. Portrait mode shootout, Pixel 3 versus iPhone 10R versus iPhone XS. I'm getting sick and tired of every reviewer judging these phones by this blur crap. Come on now, y'all are better than that here. I'm pretty sure there's some some other reviews on there, but it does say portrait mode review, so we kind of had to go with that. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. And of course, leave your comments and questions. Let us know whatever you think as you go through. It's being noted in the chat by Keelan. Always trust the guy that yells in all caps, government spy device. So yes, trust that. All right, I do have this though. I've got a giveaway. $100 gift card to Amazon that we need to give away here before we wrap up for the day. So as usual, we've got the email code on there. The email code is primetime, so send an email to dtdaily@digitaltrends.com. Be the 10th emailer with that email code in there, primetime, and you will win a $100 Amazon gift card. We'll announce it tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Taking a look back here at what we've talked about today, again, the Apple event being the big thing. You know, we want to know what everybody thinks about it, what everybody thinks about the releases. We kind of went through it, had some comments, questions, had Luke on to talk about that, and you can follow digitaltrends.com all day with more insight as we find out more about the devices. We do have people on the ground there in New York where the event was, so probably trying out some of the different things. Maybe we'll have an iPad Pro, like first-hand review. All that will be following along at Digital Trends. You know, follow us on Twitter and everywhere else to see that. A big thank you to Kim for coming on and talking about how to pick a coffee machine, which I think is fascinating. You can check that out under our smart home section at Digital Trends. And like I said, really the big thing today is going to be follow along for all of that Apple news. Tomorrow's show, we've got another fully loaded show with all kinds of guests, all kinds of segments. We've got an automotive segment that's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to be talking to author Charles Simon about Will Computers Revolt? And so much more to discuss. Cedric Hudson from Adidas. All that here with DT Daily, which we are on every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, here from Portland, Oregon, noon Eastern. We have our New York office that can chime in. We have all kinds of stuff, and we really do appreciate everybody hitting that subscribe button wherever you're watching us to make sure we pop up with you every day. All right, I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more DT Daily.